Clearly, today is that Friday, and we're looking forward clearly to what will come out of the appeal court. But in the meantime, lots of issues laid on the ground. Don't forget, this strike actually started as far back as February the 14th, for those keeping count. And this morning, we're joined by Dr. Dele Ashiru, who is the chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, University of Lagos, UNILAG. Joins us right here in our Lagos studio. Good morning, Dr. Ashiru.
Good morning. Thank you for this invitation.
Just to be clear, why is ASUU not back to school yet, in spite of the September 21st ruling of the Industrial Court?
Well, as you have heard from the lawyer of the union, that ruling was appealed, and we sought a stay of execution, which was expected to be heard. But in the wisdom of the higher court, the two counsels were advised to settle the matter out of court. One would expect that a serious government will quickly seize that opportunity to rescind, this macabre dance.
Just to be clear, what I was asking is, so there's a subsisting court order saying ASUU, from the Industrial Court, Justice Hammond saying, ASUU, go back to school, go back to classes while we deal with the case before the court. That was on September the 21st. It was given on Wednesday, and it's been over 2 weeks now. You have not gotten a stay of execution. The appeal court has not even made a decision. That's why we're waiting till today. So over 2 weeks, why has ASUU not obeyed that court ruling?
Well, ASUU had appealed that ruling.
But you've not gotten a stay of execution.
And we also feel that that court lacks the jurisdiction to make that order. So why do you obey an illegal order, so to speak?
So you call the court, the Industrial Court, illegal?
No, that order, not the court. The court is a legitimate court of the land, established to adjudicate, in labor matters. And we must thank the Industrial Court, because in the past, we got justice, from that court on behalf of some of our members who were in this same manner.
And the court had jurisdiction at that time?
No, in this particular matter. No, that's the point.
The one you got then, did the court have jurisdiction?
Oh, sure.
So it was it because it was in favor of you?
No, I just told you that that court is a court of the land. So we are not contesting the validity of the court. But the court is one thing. The individual judge is another. And if you listen to the grounds of our appeal, a number of these issues I'm raising were the grounds of the appeal.
Just to be clear, Dr. Ashiru, pardon me.
Please.
So you say that it is a legitimate court of the land, which in times past has, come to the aid, or at least has favored,
done justice
for ASUU. So this time you are choosing not to obey it because
No.
Have you obeyed the court ruling?
No. The question is, look, something cannot stand on nothing.
But you just said this is a legitimate court of the land.
But in this instance, bear in mind that our learned counsel told the world that in the first instance, by the law, the Minister of Labor had no legitimate right to drag our union to that court in the first instance. We've not gone to arbitration. Do you get the point?
So isn't that for the court?
So sometimes, if you look at jurisprudence, what is it? What interest is the law to serve? The legality of it or the justice? So in this instance, the interest of justice has not been served.
So who decides justice? That's why we have the court. So in this case, is ASUU being judge and jury in its case saying, we'll choose to obey this particular order. We'll not obey this order because we think it doesn't do justice to us.
No. We have followed, the processes laid down by the laws of the land. If you have a judgment, or an order, so to speak, that's not even a judgment, it's an order. It's an interlocutory order.
Nonetheless, it is meant for you to obey.
And in the wisdom of our learned counsel, that order has not served the interest of justice. And we are following the processes of the law to point out
the issues with that particular ruling.
But
you do know that, I mean, the court has given a pronouncement which is clear, saying go back to work. That is clear. Over 2 weeks now, ASUU, pardon me, okay. Over 2 weeks now, ASUU has not gone back to work in spite of that ruling. You have not gotten a stay of execution at the Court of Appeal. It is meant to make a decision today. And you're aware that you might be in contempt of court.
I don't think so. Because should that be the case, I mean, we would have been so advised. But we have one of the best lawyers in the land as our lawyer.
Oh, so your lawyer advised you not to obey this particular court ruling? Our lawyer is
handling the case in the interest of justice and following the processes laid down by the law. That's just the situation.
Speaking of your lawyer, he stated the position of the union on the proliferation of unions, and something about, from the papers today suggests that ASUU may be headed to court to sue the government for registering CONUA. ASUU's initial reaction to the registration was, oh, we're not bothered. The government can register as many unions as it wishes to register. We're focused. Is ASUU perhaps jittery, with the decision to head to the court, to challenge the proliferation of unions? If we also go by what the Minister of Labour has said, that more are on the way.
Well, you see, my reaction to that is that ASUU is an idea, and nobody kills an idea. So if you have a bunch of disgruntled, dissatisfied individuals who want to yield themselves, as tools in the hands of oppressors, masquerading as trade unions in the university. Yeah, we wish them luck. So ASUU is not in any way, ASUU can't be jittery. What you are seeing is mere grandstanding. Go into the universities and ask those who are members of this illegal organization to, raise up their hands. You call them
illegal, but they've gotten their certificates. They've been registered.
Which certificate?
The Minister of Labour presented them a certificate.
Is it Minister of Labour that gives certificate to a trade union? Is it a minister? So it's not a minister.
Upon what is
the registrar of trade union? They should publish the certificate that they got. What you are seeing happens only in a country like Nigeria. Is it a minister that will call a press conference and be displaying a letter and saying that they have been registered and all that?
No, whether or not, I think it's the issue is whether they are legal or not. And just to be clear, they are recognized by government. They have followed the due process and they have been recognized. If ASUU has an issue, ASUU says they will go to court.
Is it a government that recognizes a trade union?
I think it's for ASUU to go to court to challenge that.
In its followership.
If ASUU is not threatened, why is ASUU headed to court to challenge a proliferation of trade unions?
Yeah, you see, the point is this. If you have a law written by you, why violate it? You see, sometimes ASUU embarks on some struggle to make some point. If you write a law, you wrote the law. ASUU didn't write the law. But because ASUU is insisting that you should do the right thing, you should fund education and make universities in Nigeria globally competitive, and then you are applying, Gestapo fascist tactics rather than facing the issues, then it behoves on the union to also test your law, test government's law, and to show, how, crude a minister can be. So sometimes you challenge some situation, not because it threatens you in any form, but to put the record straight. I mean, CONUA had been around since at about 2017. They've been gallivanting about, telling lies to themselves and to some of their cronies.
What lies did they tell? Do you think they told?
Look at it today.
Dr. Asher.
One of it is that they are in 17 universities. I am a university teacher. Where are the members in 17 universities?
Who said they're in 17 universities?
The coordinator of the organization.
Chairman of CONUA.
Well, I don't know whether it's chairman. Well, he can call himself
essentially, you're saying that you have a list of CONUA members and you know where they're not and where they're in.
We know those of them who are. We know them. We know us. We are in the same trade. So we know ourselves.
So you have the information to authenticate their membership strength in Nigerian universities?
Yes.
How so? Are you a member of CONUA yourself?
Do I have to be a member of CONUA? I am a proud member of ASUU.
So how do you know what's going on within CONUA?
We know them. And they know that we know ourselves.
You know, you made some points. You said, I mean, you're going to court. Your case is already in Court of Appeal. If a decision is made today in favor of ASUU, would you expect the federal government to obey that decision of court?
It's a higher court. They have to.
So, but you can disobey a court.
There's no case of disobedience here. And I don't know why you are insisting on this point. There's no case of disobedience.
Let me understand this, because this is a citadel of learning.
Oh, yeah.
It's our ivory towers. We expect you to represent the very best standard. So you say that a court...
Is this the way they deal with...
No, pardon me. Let me learn, Dr. Ashiri. So a court gives a decision, and this is for even students who are watching and learning as well. So a court of competent jurisdiction gives a ruling saying, do this, pending the determination of the substantive suit. And it's been over 2 weeks. And you've not gotten a stay of execution, which is the condition for which to say, well, we're not going to obey that particular decision because there's a stay of execution. But yet you say that, no, it is not disobedience. So what then is disobedience?
You see, the point that we should underscore is that when you are not supposed to do something and you are doing it, that, bear in mind, that judge was a vacation judge. And then they arraigned him to give an order, which he did and left. See, the point here is that
I think we have followed... Who arranged him to give the order? Those are very, very huge allegations.
The Minister of Labour.
Do you have proof that the Minister of Labour was the one that appointed him to sit over that case?
The Minister of Labour cannot appoint...
You said he was arranged, and I said who? You said the Minister of Labour.
You arranged this meeting.
Exactly. So it was by me, but essentially we invited you, basically.
Yeah.
So I can say that I invited Dr. Ashiri.
Look at what
so
happened.
Did the Minister of Labour say, George, come and sit on this case?
Look at what happened in the court now. The man finished, the job, and then handed over the file back to the registrar, to reassign the case. Look at it now.
I don't think that's against the procedures of the court. But that aside, pardon me, the issues at stake now are very important issues. The court, interestingly, said, go and settle out of court. And that's where you've been for, 7 months now, out of court, trying to settle. You go to the court says, go outside and settle it. So I wonder, as it is now, are you able to really, in good faith with government, settle out of courts?
No, you see, it is government that has demonstrated bad faith all along. And that has been the position of our union. Look, you set up a committee. Government set up a committee, the Nimi Bricks Committee, to negotiate with our union. That committee and our union concluded negotiation in good faith. All that was required was for government to sign. Only for government, to do 360 turnaround and refuse to sign. And rather than being honest with what transpired there, Minister of Labour, Minister of Education, all of them, started telling lies to Nigerians. Such that...
What lies did they tell?
Such that the Nimi Bricks... I'm coming to answer your question.
Okay,
let me finish my line of thought. The Nimi Bricks Committee did a paid advertorial to say that what the ministers were saying were far from the truth. What were the lies? The first was that ASUU sat down with Nimi Bricks Committee and were fixing their own salaries. that ASUU chased away all relevant government agencies that ought to, be part of the negotiating process so that they can do what they choose. These were far from the truth. In fact, the truth of the matter is that Nimi Briggs himself, before all of those people, told our union that we have gone round relevant government agencies, and this is what government was willing to offer. And then we said, okay, if we'd been at home for quite some time, students are at home, the country, is at its edge on account of this crisis. Bring it. And we have these things in writing, only for government through the Minister of Education to come and say, well, they cannot do what they have.
All right, Dr. Ashur, we've gone back now. Let's now go forward. Speaking of which, the president at the Summit on Anti-Corruption recently said that, ASUU lecturers are complicit in corruption because a searchlight should be turned on the management of internally generated revenue from public universities. I wonder what your position would be on this.
You see, when you are in a society where the leadership is disconnected from the people, from reality, you cannot but hear all of this kind of out of the blues assertion from Mr. President. Look, this same Mr. President who set up ICPC, EFCC, and all that, how many cases of corruption in the university that our union had reported? What has happened to them? Instead, they are being rewarded with more government appointment. Just 1 minute, please.
What about, let me just get in this one. What about the panel report, findings from the panel report, to UNILAG, which unveiled several cases of mismanagement? Let me just read some of the findings. Contract splitting by the University Tenders Board, over budgetary spending, frequent official travels and expenditure without due approval by the governing council. This is just a few quoted from that panel report. Now, what does this do or say about, ASUU's request for university autonomy if, it cannot live by the standards that it is demanding of government?
Where are government anti-corruption agencies? This thing you are reading, is it in a file? Who is charged with the constitutional responsibility to arrest this? One of the reasons why we are on this strike is for government to release a white paper on this report. And more than 1 year after, the president who ought to release the white paper is the one talking. Is that ASUU will release white paper, will write white paper?
So essentially, you're saying that these allegations are not true?
It is government that is funding corruption.
No, so
are these allegations not true? These are findings from a panel report on UNILAG, your university.
Yes. I am not contesting whatever is here. What I'm saying is, who is to act?
All right. So essentially, the government has dropped the ball in prosecuting these cases, but you admit that indeed they are true.
Well, the report, look, it's a report of an investigation. An investigation set up by government itself. And you've not read it there that the chairman of ASUU or the president of ASUU or whoever is involved in, we don't even issue contract.
Right.
So put the blame where it rightly belongs. Why model up our union in it? So what we are saying is that government rewards corrupt people in this country. 2 of them are in the people to be given national award as we speak. So, ASUU, do we have power of arrest?
Who are those people?
The former vice chancellor of Umudike. We had a compendium before government chronicling all his atrocities in Umudike.
Was he convicted?
Who is to convict him?
No,
Am I the one?
The question was, you just said that the government should actually prosecute those cases of corruption.
So who is to do so?
So he's not being
Put
convicted.
the blame where it rightly belongs. Government is abdicating its responsibility.
I mean, we know the job of the court, the responsibility of the court is to convict and say essentially
but you have
are
to drag
guilty.
somebody to the court.
So if
to
the court has not made pronouncements, we cannot sit here as a court and say someone
we are not sitting. We are saying that.
Are you saying
make that pronouncement?
What we are saying is that there have been cases
or allegations that then need to be probed.
Yes,
exactly.
So
allegations of
ICPC
corruption against university administrators.
Right.
Pending before relevant government agencies.
And you're saying ICPC and EFCC should turn their searchlight on these cases?
Why not?
Well,
that's what they are established to do.
And you're confident that ASUU members will not be found wanting in the process of
whoever is found wanting, our union does not, support criminality. Whoever is found wanting should be prosecuted.
Clearly, lots of hurdles
to
cross.
To end corruption in the ivory tower. It's not by grandstanding and by mere sloganeering.
Well,
there's corruption there.
We have to wind down on this now. Clearly, lots of hurdles to cross, and I mean, I can tell from your passion that we always hope for the very best from ASUU, from the government. But I'd like to thank you so much. Dr. Dele Ashiru is the chairman of ASUU in University of Lagos, UNILAG. Thank you so much for your time, and wish you the very best, and our students the very best as well.
We hope we hear good news from the court today.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Always.
Thank you.
So that's it. A look at what's going on with us. So don't forget that court ruling is expected to be today. Stay with Channels Television for the latest. But we'll go on a quick break right now. The show just got started, as they said, and we'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.